Hi Scorpio, welcome to my private jungle and to your July 2025 horoscope. I am Nadia, the astrologer for people who do not believe in astrology but who want to hear their July forecast. And I apologize for being so late with it. I was sick, couldn't record it earlier, and also apologize for being so damn slow. We're experiencing a heat wave and my brain is melting. So this video will need a lot of editing. Let's start. Now, I will start with Venus. It is in the final degrees of Taurus in the beginning of the month, and Taurus in your horoscope rules the area of important partnerships, friendships, and other one-on-one relationships where you are roughly equals. What's special about this area of your horoscope is that in the past 7 years, Uranus was working with it, and Uranus is a disruptor. The task for Uranus was to make it impossible for you to go on as you were in the important relationships of your life. So if before 2018 or 2019 you were in a relationship that was limiting you, that relationship is probably not there anymore. Or if you were single for many years, then Uranus could have pushed you into a relationship actually. Reflect on what has changed in the area of important one-on-one relationships in your life within the past 7 years. And then use the first days of July, especially the 3rd and the 4th of July, the days when Venus will catch up with Uranus in this area of your life and they will be acting together. Use those days to celebrate or see the results or have fun with an interesting person, with a person with whom you can be weird together. Doesn't matter if it's your romantic partner, your friend, your colleague, your co-author, maybe also a possibility. Or celebrate freedom. If Uranus freed you from relationships that were, it's the heat, I cannot remember the word, suffocating you. If Uranus saved you from relationships that suffocated you, celebrate not being suffocated with pleasure in the first days of July. Then Venus will move into the next sign of Gemini, and Venus here may help you enjoy romantic, intimate relationships more. It will spend all of July here, and during those weeks of July, if you have a relationship in which deep intimacy is appropriate, enjoy it. Talk about it. Also talk about things about which you have a lot of intense feelings. Talk about those things with people you like. And people you like, maybe a partner or a friend or a psychotherapist as well. Sex may be more pleasant. Intimate trust may be more loving. Anyway, this will be followed by Uranus also entering Gemini in this area of not just one-on-one relationships, but deep, intimate relationships in which some form of interdependence is appropriate. And Uranus will try to revolutionize and disrupt things there. It has a purpose. It wants you to be true to yourself. It wants you to live the life that is individually tailored, that suits you, that is not ready-made, but individuated. And how we know that we are true to ourselves is when we are a little bit weird. When we see that what I want and what I enjoy is not what others expect me to want or enjoy. It's not a foolproof heuristic, but it often works. And with Uranus, it works very often. Another area of life for which Gemini is responsible in your horoscope is psychological depths and complicated financial relationships. For example, getting the funding, getting loans, stipends, any kind of funding actually, or also using the property of other people, organization, state, whatever. And here things will become more unpredictable because Uranus doesn't do predictable, but also probably more fun, but it's hard to say in which way. So whatever the situation was with receiving funding, it's about to change within the next few years. It could change in the direction of being more ambitious there, or it can change in the direction of those sources of funding that you thought were reliable would stop being as reliable. So what can you do in this July already? Well, if you have a partner with whom deep intimacy is appropriate, basically with whom you live and have sex and talk about maybe not everything, but intimate topics, then experiment with it. Be more adventurous in sex, but also in deep talks, in expressing what you feel, in exploring what you feel as well. The deeper you go, the weirder it's going to get. That also may influence the relationship you have with a business partner, if you have one. Here, you may also end up doing something unconventionally. But what you may also consider with Uranus in Gemini is some weird form of psychotherapy or cutting edge investments, or like getting funding from very unexpected experimental sources. The most influential and probably also important planets in 2025 and 2026 are Neptune and Saturn in Aries. They already entered Aries in the spring months, and they are acting there together. You can go back to the June forecast, to the May forecast, to the March forecast, where I talk about what they do for you specifically at length. To summarize what they do, they want you to reform how you do your day-to-day life. So they're about work, but not only on the job. It may be the labor that you actually do for money, where they would want you to restructure it, reinvent it in a time-intensive, laborious manner, so that after, let's say, 2 years, you are in a different situation and you are thankful to yourself. So, for example, acquiring a new profession would fit, or changing the way you approach doing things within your profession would also fit. But it should be something difficult, time-consuming. That's what Saturn would like. And it should also be at least a little bit idealistic. That is what Neptune would want from you. This is where you're supposed to feel under pressure. And the good news is that during July, Neptune will enter its retrograde phase on the 5th of July. Saturn will enter its retrograde phase on the 13th of July. And this pressure you're feeling in your day-to-day routines, schedule, skills, professional skills, will start subsiding. And you would feel a little bit of relief, but you may also feel a little bit disoriented, because it was kind of clear what the problem was, or what the limitation was, or what you were supposed to do, and now it's not so clear anymore. Well, this is how it is with those slow planets. They will take a step back during the retrograde, and then in 2026 they will return to Aries and they will move forwards for another, let's say, half a year before retrograding again. And these next months, where the pressure on you will not be as strong, you are supposed to use to prepare basically for what you are going to do in 2026. So if you are missing resources, get those resources. If you are missing connections, get those connections. If you are missing the skills, get those skills. If you were too busy to do something new, then finish the old projects first, so that then you have more time to innovate, to try something new, to reshape this daily area of your life. On the 10th of July, there is going to be a full moon in Capricorn. In your horoscope, Capricorn rules the area of intellectual labor, communication, words in general, learning as well, and mobility and gadgets. Full moons illuminate, so this full moon will show you how well you have developed your ideas, for example, or how well you can communicate something that you want to communicate, or if you are training for some sort of driver license, captain license, anything that can give you new ways to be mobile, then the days around the 10th could be the days when you see your progress, for example. Or you may also be able to assess whether the gadgets that you have or the technology that you have is actually working for you. Now, buying new gadgets is a little bit dangerous because Mercury will start its retrograde phase on the 18th of July, and now it's already in what is called the shadow zone. So this is where it will be retrograding over when it retrogrades. If you don't absolutely need to buy new gadgets, maybe don't. Or if you do, then make sure that the whatever you need to return it later on is in order. In your horoscope, Leo, the sign in which Mercury will be retrograde, rules the area of career, official status, business, reputation, your place in the society, what you do in your most official role. And this is exactly what you may want to rethink, reassess. Is my reputation what I want it to be? Is the role that I play officially what I want it to be? Do I want to change the focus? Do I want to reposition myself? Do I like my LinkedIn profile? Retrograde misunderstandings and mishaps may happen during the second half of July, during all of July basically. So double check, ask questions, make sure that you understood people correctly, but also that they understood you correctly. It's okay if you have to repeat something 2 times and apologize for being so slow maybe, or for repeating things. But this mostly concerns your official role. Also double check documents. If you are reissuing some of like ID or other form of documents, just double check that there are no mistakes that you would later need to correct anyway. And then on the 24th, there will be a new moon in Leo as well, while Mercury is still retrograde in Leo. So this new moon is an opportunity to start something, or to plan something, or to start wanting something in this area of career, business, reputation. But there are limits. Limit number 1 is that Mercury is still retrograde in the same area of your horoscope. So you need to be flexible with setting goals. So the goals need to be a little bit more general, so you could specify how you want to achieve them a little bit later on. And limit number 2 is that it's best if it's not something too grandiose for the year ahead. Step-by-step development, repositioning, experimenting with something new, or maybe also paying attention to what's happening in your home and family. Maybe there's something important going on, and changing what you do officially based on what's happening in your home and family. I know it sounds cryptic, but people who listen to it would often know immediately what I mean, because there is something happening in their home and family life, and it does influence what they are supposed to plan for their for what they do in their official role. It may be events and circumstances, or it may be a change in their attitude to their home and family life. Another thing to keep in mind is that in the summer of 2026, Jupiter, the planet of luck and abundance, will move into Leo and will help you to grow exponentially there. So whatever you are planning for yourself for the next 12 months in this area, treat it as preparing ground for the future exponential growth. Experimenting, repositioning, asking questions, trying something, that sounds more like something that would be interesting, that would work, rather than betting on one thing and expecting a really big result. And then finally, on the 31st, Venus will move into Cancer. In your horoscope, Cancer rules the area where we expand our horizons or expand other people's horizons. And Venus will try to seduce you into doing this more, or into doing this in a more attractive, pleasurable manner. This I will be talking about a lot in the next forecast for August. But for now, focus on the relationships. Think about funding and the resources that you are using. Ask yourself questions about your official role and whether you want to experiment with it a little bit more. And have a beautiful July, and see you in the next video.